The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was seen as the odd one out when it first launched, being viewed as different from the established notion in the common subconscious as to what a Zelda game actually was. When in reality, it was a game meant to imitate the feeling of adventure epitomized in the series' initial title, where you can just pick a direction and go, and chances are, you'll have an adventure all of your own, where you uncover mysteries and secrets of Hyrule in a non-linear fashion, while utilizing the tools you find to solve various problems or unlock secrets in the world. Being inspired by a game that was on the NES presents various opportunities simply due to the technological advancements of the medium as a whole since the 80s. So how does Breath of the Wild work? Why is it so polarizing but also so beloved by many, and myself? Well, let's peer behind the veil and take a look at how Breath of the Wild works, and how its various mechanics and design philosophies influenced and sculpted what I view as a masterpiece of a game. So the main draw of Breath of the Wild is far and away its open-world navigation. Open world isn't a new concept, and many games and series have traded or treaded into open-world entries in a hope of seeming modern or relevant and showing off a beautifully designed world to help sell more copies. However, more often than not, those open-world games boil down to little more than glorified time-gating mechanics, meant to elongate your playtime with the actual product, while the overworld may feel either void of interesting activities to do, or filled to the brim with grindy checklist-esque things to do that aren't interesting to perform or accomplish, that are there just to give Gerard the completionist unneeded stress. A lot of the times, level design is compromised because it all has to fit in one world, so vastly different aesthetics and ideas kind of thrown away in lieu of serving in this one cohesive world. Breath of the Wild bucks away from this trend that has become fashionable and includes an open world, where the open world is the forward-facing content of the game. The appeal is exploring the world. Hyrule doesn't exist just to serve as a glorified loading screen between interesting objectives. Exploring the world and its various nooks and crannies is the key here, whether it's horse collecting or finding various Korok seeds, defeating strong enemies for better weapons while managing your supplies, evading danger, completing various side quests, or shrine completion. Breath of the Wild absolutely has its checkmark list of things to do, but the reason it works here is because of the way that they're incorporated into the open world. It makes all the difference. And with the exception of shrines, we'll get to them, everything seems natural within the scope of Hyrule. Korok seed discovery relies on spotting natural formations, misaligned, or finding odd ones out that feel immersed into the world naturally. Keeping a sharp eye open may spot you a few Korok seeds, or you may just end up running past them none the wiser, because of how well blended into the world they are. The majority of the content in this game involves some way of manipulating the world around you to aid you in navigating the world. The temperature mechanic makes different biomes feel impactful and immersing, where if you are going to explore a snowy mountaintop, that's cool, but make sure to pack your winter clothes. Or, in lieu of that, some elixirs that give you cold resistance, or food that gives you cold resistance. Plan accordingly. Same with the desert heat or the volcanic fire of Death Mountain. You must prepare accordingly to tackle the challenges of navigating and exploring this ruined world of Hyrule. Enemies haunt nearly every corner, and you have to be prepared with a sufficient surplus of weapons at your disposal, or navigate around them or sneak past to avoid detection, but each individual encounter is open to whatever the player can devise as their preferred strategy. Maybe you find an encampment of bokoblins, and they are clustered around a house. Inside the house, you spot some explosive barrels, but outside there's still some bokoblins guarding from watchtowers. Now here's a list of some things that you can do. This isn't even everything, but these are like some of the things I thought of on the top of my head. You could snipe the guards with arrows, then shoot a bomb arrow inside to blow up the barrels, weakening or killing the monsters inside. Mop up, job done. Or sneak up on the guards, sneak attack them, and then shoot a fire arrow at a possible chandelier inside, dropping it, lighting the barrels, causing the explosion. Or aggro all the enemies, guiding them to a nearby body of water if it's available, and using either your weapons or Sheikah bombs or a bomb arrow to knock them into the river, drowning them. Or do that one again, but if you're nearby a cliff, drag them to the side of the cliff and then do that again. Use Majora's Mask, a DLC item, to just simply walk past them and steal whatever chests lie there. You can lead them into shallow water if available and use shock arrows to stun them and then move in for the kill with either melee attacks or other bow attacks or even bombs. This also works in rain, by the way, so bear in mind the weather. bring a horse and engage in mounted combat. Use Rivali's Gale to leap into the air and snipe them while you're in midair. Use Cryo to freeze a block of water to give you a sniper push to kill them with arrows. Or kill one of the guards in one of the guard towers, take over the guard tower, and then use that to snipe them. You can find something metal nearby and use the magnet tool to hit the bokoblins with it over and over again. May take some time, but you could do it. Or you can at least use it to keep some space between you and them, or to be used as cover. Oh, and by the way, at any point in any of those scenarios, you can also choose to use weapons you brought with you or steal the weapons the bokoblins have lying around, because yes, those weapons don't just spawn on the enemies, they are actual tools that you can equip, and sometimes they'll just be lying around if the enemies aren't holding them, which means you can just go up and take them, preventing them from using those weapons on you, while also letting you burn through those weapons, saving your stronger ones for later or for the golden enemies. And you can do that in each and every scenario I just listed. That's 9 separate ways to tackle that one encounter, with each way having various different subways within. Those bokoblins will be eating fresh. The game is all about player agency and choice, and the main design principles of the game and the tools that gives you the player live in service of that overarching idea, to give you as many different ways to tackle any situation as possible, and to let you use your imagination to solve these issues. For instance, on stream, I was doing Von Mado, the Divine Beast of the Rito. Now, the main mechanic of that Divine Beast is that you can tilt the entire Divine Beast in midair to give you different angles or different ways to climb certain obstacles. I never used that once, despite my stream chat yelling at me to do it. You wanna know what I did? I used other ways or other methodologies that were there in the dungeon or that I had by myself to beat the dungeon. And I didn't need to use the actual main mechanic that was unique to the dungeon at all, because the game let me. The game's not going to force your hand to go one way or the other. It will let you choose. Whether it be from giving you a slew of tools you can bring or manipulating the environment to your advantage, you can judge each situation, weigh the pros and cons, and do what you want to do or what you think up of. Whether that is commit and engage or leave it for another day. The game gives you a few tools that are universal through your Sheikah Slate, but the rest is found organically in the world. Whether it's more hearts to tackle tougher fights so you don't get one shot, or so you can get the Master Sword. Or you can go for more stamina to glide and run farther. That's also a choice, by the way, as to whether or not you want more hearts or stamina. You can find warm clothes to tackle snowy mountains, or finding cool gear to let you survive the heat, or new weapons, bows, arrows, or shields, enabling you to fight in different ways with different combat strategies, and you have the chance of each of those items having their own unique effect attached to them. On top of your clothes having different bonuses to give you different advantages. Like, I got a chest piece earlier that lets me climb faster. So when I need to do a bit of climbing, I just throw that on. If I have a bunch of bone damage stuff, I just equip my Phantom Ganon set I got from one of the DLC pieces, which gives me bone attack up. Oh, I'm in an area of a lot of guardians. I will equip my Twilight Princess Midna helmet, which is high defense, but also gives me guardian resistance. On top of all of that, you also have food that you can create for even further buffs or heals, letting you go beyond your limits by giving you more stamina when you need it, or increase your maximum heart level. The customization and progression in Breath of the Wild is very simple in design. No lengthy talent trees or complex builds, but its simplicity is the key. It is straightforward and effective, where everything feels valuable. You feel every upgrade, you feel safer, and you feel like, hey, I can use this for something valuable. Breath of the Wild is a laid-back and relaxing game right up until you play Master Mode, where you'll be canvassing the hills, mountains, ravines, and various features of Hyrule to discover all that it has to offer as you make your own objectives as to what you want to accomplish. Hyrule Castle always stands in the middle, a beacon reminding you, the player, that this game goes for as long as you want it to, and at the end of the game, all you have to do is just go inside Hyrule Castle, beat Ganon, game's done, and you can do that whenever. But you can also just free the Divine Beast, go do side quests, and explore as much of the world as you want beforehand. The game is a dang near perfect distillation of non-linear game design, and honestly, that's what I love about it. It's a giant world with a bunch of cool stuff to find, doesn't throw too much at you at any given time, it's simple, it's fun, it's rewarding, and it's also pretty relaxing. Yeah, I kind of like the fact that the music is not that forward in the game all that much. I love the music that is there. I wish they kind of leaned into it a bit more than they did. but it's a very peaceful, relaxing game when you're just walking around Hyrule and navigating it and finding all of its secrets. It's a return to the core design philosophy that the Zelda series started with, and to me, is expertly packaged. Does it have its flaws? Yes, absolutely. I would like to see a return to more standard Zelda dungeons, instead of, say, Divine Beasts in Tears of the Kingdom. Weapon durability could also be increased, yeah, sure. I think shrines outstay their welcome aesthetically and clash drastically with the rest of the game. I think the Master Sword is pretty underwhelming. I haven't done the DLC to upgrade the thing yet, but last time I played before that DLC came out, it was just kind of whatever. I think Calamity Ganon is also a boring fight to cap it all off with, and I wish there was more story than just the memories, because the stuff we did get was really compelling. Breath of the Wild probably has one of my favorite Zelda stories overall, it's just barely any there, and it's just so few and far between, where I just want way more of it. I'm hoping I get that in Tears of the Kingdom. There's plenty of ways to take this Breath of the Wild formula and to improve on it. And I'm hoping that's the direction that Tears of the Kingdom takes. Because honestly, it's kind of shaping up to be that way. Lean into the strengths of the Breath of the Wild formula and give the player even more tools for player agency and tools that can be used in a variety of ways to tackle any situation, and that is seemingly what they are doing with Tears of the Kingdom, which is why I'm so optimistic. No game is perfect, but to me, a great game is measured by if a game has flaws and you simply don't mind them, because the pros and strengths of the game are so great and lofty that you would put up with those downsides, because the experience at the end of the day was still really worth it. And if when you put the controller down, you start thinking, what am I going to do next time I play? When you're able to have those thoughts, those feelings about a game, I would consider that a pretty dang good game for you. And that, for me, Breath of the Wild is up there. No game is perfect, and I don't think a game has to be perfect. It can have its flaws, just so long as the strengths are so good. And for me, they are. But it's all subjective taste at the end of the day. What I may like, you may not like, and what you may like, I may not like, and vice versa. And that's entirely fine. We're all entitled to our own opinions. It's what makes video game discussion such an interesting platform at the end of the day for me. But I feel like before we go into Tears of the Kingdom, which releases soon, I thought it was a good chance, a good opportunity to just talk about Breath of the Wild, what it did so well and what it could do a little bit better. And then we can go into Tears of the Kingdom and see what did they learn, what are they going to do differently here, what did they take to heart from Breath of the Wild, and what didn't they? Oh yeah, and they probably gonna have a few more types of bosses in the overworld. I fought like multiple high knocks at this point, like we could do a little bit more with that. But again, that's one of the things that seemingly Tears of the Kingdom is getting better at. So fingers crossed, hopefully they've learned some very valuable lessons. Because I think going back to that original NES Zelda design philosophy, what a great step for the series as a whole right now. Now, it's a matter of taking some of those lessons from those later Zelda games, those 3D ones, taking them to heart and incorporating them with this design philosophy and the style of Zelda game to take it to the next level. That's where I really want to see Tears of the Kingdom go. So I'm going to call the video there for today. Thank you all for tuning in. Stay safe. Have a great day. If you like the video, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. And hit the bell icon to be notified for when I upload in the future, because you know I'll be covering Tears of the Kingdom. And I have been streaming Breath of the Wild on this YouTube channel, so go give it a watch if you want. And catch me live. Stay safe. Have a great day. Go play some video games if you can. As always, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.